Oh, we are live. Hello, hello. I'll wait for a few people to log on. Hello, everyone. You guys are tuned in with your girl Fancy. Okay. I'm just gonna wait for a few people to sign on. Hello, hello. Happy Haitian Heritage Month, everyone. Today we have a special. Um, 1 second. Awesome. There we go. Yes, happy Haitian Heritage Month. So, I would like to start off by saying log on to our website at www.thehaitianheritage.com. Follow us on Facebook at the Haitian American Collaborative, and also follow us on Instagram at the_Haitian Heritage. Let's see. Oh, turn that back around. Oh, yes, yes. The guest for tonight is on. Let's see. Request. Awesome. Hold on. Okay. So we are going to join us today is Jaden TiMoun. We're going to add her on and start our show. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Although the weather outside is a little down, but today is a beautiful day overall.
Yes, I agree.
I'm happy that you decided to come on and go live with us so we can have a word or two about what it is you have going on. Let's start off by sharing, your name.
Oh,
Sorry.
absolutely. So first of all, I want to start off by saying thank you for the
Oh,
invitation
no
to
worries.
come on to talk about Jaden TiMoun. My name is Darnelle,
Yes.
Champagne Darnelle, and I'm one of the co-founders for Jaden TiMoun, which is a language immersion program for children. And the other co-founder, Winnie, who's
Yes.
an absolute darling. She's a wonderful person. She also is the founder of the Haitian Creole Language Institute of New York,
Mhm.
where we have courses for adults. So she and I, we co-founded Jaden TiMoun in 2018, and we launched the program in that summer.
Oh, nice, nice. That's amazing. Let me see. Hold on. I want to switch this background to have your. I wish the whole thing would show.
Oh,
Oh, that's okay. We'll do that. Awesome. Yes. Okay. So, um, well, I have a few questions for you here. I wanted to know. So, how did this come about? Um, the collaboration, and then the concept for the kids, and then for your co-partner or founder, for the adults as well. What inspired it?
what
Yeah, yeah.
inspired? So the Haitian Creole Language Institute of New York was founded in 2013. So it was around for a few years already.
Yeah.
And through that, there's an array of other programs that the institute hosts and has. And the children's program, Winnie and I would say I've known, by the way, I've known her for a number of years, for a long time. I met her through a very close friend of mine who I went to
Mhm.
elementary school actually with.
Oh,
And,
wow.
and so we've known each other for quite some time. And one day, uh, I walked into Grand Champ, which is a Haitian restaurant in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, a restaurant that we frequent quite often. We love very much. And so one day, my husband and I and my eldest daughter we walked in, and I remember it was the summer of 2017. And I bumped into Winnie. I said, "Hey, Winnie, how are you? How are you doing?" You know, she was there, and we bumped into each other.
Yes, yes, yes.
And seen each other in maybe it might have been a few months. I'm not sure. And so I initiated the conversation with her then about starting a program. And actually, this was in 2016 because I'm now remembering I was pregnant with my son at the time. So yes, it was in 2016, and we initially started talking about it, and then maybe a year later, we spoke some more, and then we sat down and we started to seriously plan for putting together this program for children. Because as we know, there are many adults, many people, you know, who are interested in learning their heritage language, who are interested in remaining connected through language. Yeah. And myself, I'm an educator by trade. I am actually, I work with children. I'm an early childhood educator. And so being an advocate of Haitian Creole and also someone who's connected to her culture, I have children who I want to be sure that they're raised in the same manner that I was raised in.
Right.
Give them that enrichment. And so part of doing that, I knew would entail a level of exposure, some structured and some, you know, flexible. And so in speaking to Winnie about putting together a program, we planned during the winter of 2017 into 2018, and voila, we put it all together and we launched it in the summer of 2018.
That's amazing. So when you initially started it off, was it focused on one certain type of program and branched off to what it is today? Or is everything that you kind of offer was always there from the beginning?
Yeah, so in the beginning, TiMoun started off as a preschool program for children between the ages of 2 and 5. And with parents who have children outside of that age range who were very interested, we decided to expand the programming to include children between the ages of 0 to 12. And so in addition to the preschool class, we also have a sing-along for babies up until 2 years of age, and a class called Chouet Lakai for children between the ages of 6 and 12.
That's awesome. And so I noticed how you offer online, and I was curious, was this prior to COVID or this was something that birthed through COVID?
Actually, this was a response to COVID. And so with children, especially with young children,
Right.
they best learn in person. Like concrete learning is the best way to go, especially when it comes to language learning. And so with the response to COVID, Winnie and I, we discussed a way to remain connected to our community, and find ways to do that. And online was the option at the time. And so we looked into it. We did some research. We looked into what we would do, and then we decided to offer classes via Zoom. And of course, with everything that you do that's new, there's a learning curve. There's an adjustment period. And so one of the things that was a concern to us was how we would find ways to be sure that we deliver programming that was not only age appropriate, but that was programming that the children would be interested in.
Yes.
Programming that would hold their attention.
Yep.
We know already that children at a very young age, they need a lot to keep their attention, and they're not abstract learners like we are as adults. And so we have to, take all of that into consideration. And so with the online learning, some of the things that we looked into was making sure that we provided programming that was very visual, like vivid imagery, as well as programming that was time efficient, not too long, not too short, but enough to keep their attention.
That makes sense. That's amazing. So prior to, I guess, the online platform, you said you're based in Brooklyn.
Yes.
Have you, because this is amazing, and I'm like sharing them out with all the friends that I have and family with kids. I'm like, this is well needed. With the online, I know that it's a better, how do you say, way to reach further than like, locally. Would you guys be interested, I guess, once COVID is over, or are you guys ever interested in doing something in like Connecticut? Because I'm here in Connecticut.
Oh,
In person.
meaning in person or via
Yeah,
online?
or either or, more than likely probably online. But if like there was a opportunity that presented itself and we had the space and we wanted to have like a retreat for the kids or like a week or something, would that be something you guys would be interested in? And probably the online platform would be the best.
Oh, we were definitely open to new ways of connecting to people because
Mhm.
we're all about, Haitian Creole and, finding ways of
Yeah.
connecting to people more. And so, of course, that's we're open, open to different things, different collaborations,
Yeah.
and open-minded about looking into other things in the future, in the near future, for sure. And
Awesome.
And so for now, as we mentioned before, in response to COVID, we're using the online platform, and we do look
Mhm.
forward to going back to the physical class,
Yes. Yeah.
which, what children need. I mean,
Yes.
physical platform, the physical work with children is the best way.
Indeed.
Experience in person is the best way to learn. And
Agree.
we're very happy that virtually we're still able to remain connected to everyone, to families and to the children.
So then ultimately, like we've once had a space and we're looking to reopen the space, and this is why we ask, because we're looking to service the youth, and this will be a great way to like keep it going and connected. Um, that's awesome. So my next question here is, as a parent, what should they expect from your program?
So a parent, one of the things that they expect from the program is first and foremost, we are an immersion program. And so when I say immersion, I mean in the sense that in the space, we mostly speak Haitian Creole. So from the moment the children walk in, n'a parlé
Yes.
avec Creole, yo vini, nous dit yo bonjour, nous fait activité avec yon Creole.
Oh, I
Et,
love
yeah, activité Creole, mais baray que ti.
Lemon. Mm-hmm.
And so it's a language immersion. And so some people may find that or in thinking, oh, immersion, well, what if the children don't understand or we don't understand?
Mm-hmm.
That seems to be um, you know, how would that work? And
Right.
the idea of immersion is that when you're immersed in quality, vocabulary rich environment, you pick up a lot. And the other thing too is that although we are an immersion program, there
Yes.
is English, when needed. And so
Right.
say about 90%, 95%, it's mostly Creole, but we're also aware of language needs of children and of family. And
Right.
so we have a range of different families that come join us, from families who include both parents who speak Haitian Creole
Yes.
to families who both parents don't speak Haitian Creole at all. And so we are mindful of being sure that we accommodate people at their levels. And so
Mm-hmm.
in the immersive space, we also do what's called comprehensible input. And so the immersion isn't just a matter of, pushing the person into the space and, just float or swim kind of a thing, but also we provide a space where there's a level of scaffolding.
Yeah.
And so we also use what one may know and then give them a bit of what they don't know to help open up the brain to finding ways to connect what they see, what they're listening to, what's going on,
Yeah.
to retain and find ways to make sense of vocabulary that's being presented to them. And
Right.
so part of what makes it so comprehensible, they're hands-on. And so if, for example, we're learning about colors, and the classroom will be filled with activities that are thematic in that sense.
Right.
And we use vocabulary, we teach target vocabulary that children already are learning or already know, things that they're interested in, things that that they would use, such as colors, such as body parts, such as titles of family members, as well as pronouns such as moi.
Yes.
Children are very egocentric, and having to learn about themselves is awesome, right?
Indeed.
One of the most favorite phrases is "I want." Moi,
Yes.
voulais. Ça,
Yes.
ça bien. Mueble crème,
That's
mueble
it.
courir, mueble sauter. That is something that's picked up, right away. And so
Right.
we take those things into consideration, and they are better able to acquire the language. And that's the other thing that we do too. So it's not just a matter of language learning, it's a matter of language acquisition. And so
Mhm.
we use what's called the natural approach, where we don't sit down with ditto sheets. They're not learning grammar, but we are in a space where authentically we're conversing and having conversations in Creole. And one of the things that we also do quite a bit of is storytelling. We use storytelling with imagery,
Mhm.
and that gives them a chance to hear rich
Right.
vocabulary as well as connect words with images to help them
Yep.
get a sense of the language. And they also get a chance to hear the pattern of the language, what it sounds like when it's coming from a native speaker, or what it sounds like when people are interacting, their parent with another parent, and a child with another child. And
Yeah.
so the language becomes much more meaningful. It's not, something that you're learning out of a book. It's not something that, oh, they speak that language. That's something that they speak. No, it's something that we speak. And
Yes.
you can speak it just like you speak English or whatever other language your family speaks.
Right. Right. So, what is the teaching philosophy of Jaden TiMoun?
The teaching philosophy. So our, as I mentioned before, we're an immersion program.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So we don't teach to textbooks. We don't teach to a curriculum that's already pre-made. And so Winnie and I were pretty creative in creating our own curriculum. We create our own stories. We create our own space. And so we also have activities that we use materials and props, things that we purchase and put together to create our own curriculum. And we also use our knowledge, our education of what we know about children, of what we do ourselves outside of that space. Myself, I as an early childhood educator,
Yes.
I've taught in the New York City Department of Education in classrooms. I'm also a special educator, and I use my knowledge, my background of
Yes.
what
Yes.
I know as an educator to bring into the space of Jaden TiMoun. We also do use books, like for storytelling. We use children's books. There's a publishing company based out in Florida called Educavision. They have lots of great books that we use to also tell stories. And we make sure that we vet our books and stories mainly for content in particular, to make sure that it's age appropriate, to make sure that we're using vocabulary or the pattern of language that's typical of our Haitian people.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So then, I love the name. I was just curious, like, what inspired the name?
Okay, yes. Oh, thank you for asking. So the name was inspired by the fact that in Haiti, or in francophone speaking countries, kindergarten, or the equivalent of schooling for children of that age, of early childhood
Yeah.
education, typically it's called Jardin d'enfants.
Hmm.
And so to make it more Creole, we decided to call it Jardin TiMoun. And
I
that's
love
what
it.
Jardin means garden.
Yep.
We have a garden of children that we
Hmm.
love so much, that we know and understand is the future. They're our
Yes.
future, and the only way they will grow is if we take care of them and we make sure that we plant seeds that
Absolutely. Absolutely.
to make sure that us as a people and as a community remains enriched, and that we're continuing our legacy.
Agreed. Agreed. And I absolutely love the work that you guys are doing. This is
Thank you so
amazing,
much.
honestly. So I had another question. I have so many questions here for you. Let's see. I noticed one of the things that I loved on the website was your puzzle pieces,
Oh.
and as you mentioned with the visual, I love that idea. Absolutely, I'm looking. I want to order. I have to order. I'm going to order some
Mhm.
for my kids. No, seriously, I don't have kids personally, but my friends and family. And is that something that you do outside of your class, or do you offer that in the class as well?
Yes, we do offer. So in the class, we do have a class called Jouet Lakai. And
Mm-hmm.
so with Dritlakai, Dritlakai is for the older children. And so with Dritlakai, we use, in addition to traditional Haitian games such as osle, dominoes that we teach the children how to play, we also use other types of games and things that we use with the children. So the puzzles, we have those particular puzzles, as well as other puzzles that we have curated mainly for that class
Yeah.
that the children are able to put together. And so as they put the puzzles together, whether before or after or during the putting the puzzles together, we also speak to them about the images on the puzzles, you know, the people that they,
Mm-hmm.
who they are in history, why are they important to our
Mm-hmm.
history,
Mm-hmm.
and what they did. And so we currently have for sale puzzle pieces that are 48 piece puzzle
Yes.
sets, but we're also looking to include puzzle sets with more pieces for older
Yeah.
children as well.
Love it. Absolutely. Um, so for the events that you have, I know you have one tomorrow and you've had one on the 2nd and you have one coming up May 16 as well. What
Yes.
can someone expect or expect from that? The storytelling and singing and dancing that you have.
So the storytelling and dance workshop is a collaboration with Tutsepa, and
Mm.
Tutsepa is a dance workshop founded by Riva Persil, who's an artist,
Mm.
lovely person, love her so much. And so with her, we have curated a program where the storytelling coincides with the dance. And so last week on the 2nd, we learned the folkloric style of Mai, which is a dance commemorating agriculture and the worker. And so many of us know that May 1st in Haiti, they celebrate Labor Day. And
Mm-hmm.
so that dance, the children learn the dance of Mai and what it means. And we also had storytelling that was themed around animals and nature to go along with that. For tomorrow, the second part of the series, we will learn the folkloric dance style of Congo, which is very colorful.
Oh,
And
yeah.
oftentimes the dancers within this style use like big long skirts, very colorful. And the storytelling, of course, will reflect colorful imagery for children, for families to see. And for the last part of the series, which will take place on Saturday, May 16th,
Yes.
happens to be the weekend of Flag Day, Haitian
And
Flag Day.
yes.
Children and families will learn the style of Ibo, which is the dance of freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And so
That's
we learn
amazing.
that.
Yes, that's awesome. And once is this recorded where someone could go back and look at it, or is it only like who decided to participate in the event itself?
And so it's a live event
Yes.
via Zoom, and so it's done live, just as we
Okay.
would have done it live. Because initially, prior to COVID, this series was due to take place at Zummy, which is a restaurant on Nostrand Avenue in Brooklyn. And so this is a second collaboration we've had with Riva of Tutsepa. The first one happened in the summer, in August, and we had it done at a dance studio in Manhattan. And it was very lively. We also included arts and crafts. And during that event, children had the chance to make drums, tambu, and we talked about the history of the tambu, why it's important to folklore, and why it's important to the dance of our country and of our people. And the children had a chance to dance and play on the tambu, so it was very interactive,
Right.
very involved. And so we had planned initially to have another series this month, but
Right.
as a result of COVID, things have changed, and that's how the series ended up on the online platform.
I honestly like to thank COVID for this online platform that everyone kind of shifted to, because in a sense it kind of like broadened our audience, you know. We for the things that I do here in the community, I may be able to do it, you know, tri-state or a certain area, but then now virtually it's reaching a lot of people. So like that's the good side of it all. Um so then I also noticed prior to COVID, you guys were having a Creole conversation group.
Oh, yes. So the Creole Conversation Group was done through the Institute, and that was with adults. And
Mhm.
so the idea of the Creole Conversation is that for the same reason why immersion works, especially with language learners, people who are either on the verge of fluency or who are already fluent.
Mhm.
The purpose of the Creole conversations was to give people a space to practice their Creole or just to remember to remain connected to it. And so it was informal, and it was also, just a chance to chat and to talk about whatever, we, would talk about. And it's a
Yeah,
good way to practice, because the only way you keep something is if you practice, right? As they say, if
indeed.
you don't lose it, you lose it, right? If you use it, you lose it, right?
Absolutely. That's
Yes.
amazing to especially have a space for that. I have a lot of friends who are saying like they're constantly feel like they're losing their Creole because they don't use it as often. And I agree 100%.
Yes. So this was the Creole conversation took place in February, and
Hmm.
it's something that we are open to revisiting and also doing again.
I love it. I'm wondering, should I have pour nous parler Creole dans le live ça?
C'est qui ça?
Pour nous parler Creole dans le live
Oui,
là.
vous me parlez un peu créole. Oui, c'est ça, tout à fait, définitivement,
So,
oui.
yes.
Oui,
Um, so, another thing. Well,
oui,
okay, on the bye guy.
oui.
Um, don't don't mind me. Moi, the logo that I put up, moi, logo. So,
Oh,
I'm
merci.
dernier. Moi, c'est un graphic artist. Je fais ça. Je fais website, je fais logo, je fais tout ça. And so, le moi, I'm like, ça belle en pile. Je me dis une question. Qui ça qui inspire pour faire ça? Or, logo à cause ça?
Oui, mais même avec Winnie, nous avons, pour quelque temps, nous avons cherché pour qui ça nous avons utilisé comme logo. Et
Mm-hmm.
puis, avec logo ça qui est intéressant avec logo ça, c'est que il y a un symbole
Mm-hmm.
en créole. So, par exemple, oui, et puis il y a un accent force,
Yes.
ça représente l'accent que nous avons dans la langue. So,
Mm-hmm.
et puis dans la langue, c'est seul l'accent qui est dans la langue. Accent force. Et puis nous connaissons sous E, et puis nous connaissons sous O. Et puis, ça représentait Jean, Jean les supposé fait le wap du mot. Par exemple, mon parole,
Oui.
O,
Oui.
sounds very different
Yeah.
from the O without the
Mm-hmm.
accent. And the E as
Mm-hmm.
well. Like, for example, duet. Le wap
Yeah.
du duet, where et, duet,
Yeah.
it's different from, let's say, voler.
Yeah.
The E at the end of voler has no accent, so it sounds different. And so in the Haitian Creole
Yeah.
language, the accent force is the only accent that exists. And
That's
so because we are a Haitian Creole program,
yes.
we found it fitting to include letters or just
Mm-hmm.
something that was
Mm-hmm.
differentiates Haitian Creole from English or any other language.
Yeah. They are too funny. They're like Lage Creola.
La Creole, okay.
What I wanted to say. Y'all are too funny. Um yeah, no, beautiful. I loved it. I love it. Not past.
Merci,
Um
merci en pile.
yes. Question of the hour. A lot of my friends are asking me. Qu'ils ont écrit compas.
Compa.
Is it
Com.
with the N, with the M, with the K, with the C? And they're constantly asking. I'm like, guys, I'm going to ask the experts.
So m'appelle pour. It's
Messy.
Konpa. That's how you write compa.
That's right. And is it Nancy?
Yes, because the on makes that sound on. And in Creole, in Haitian Creole, the sound k is always made by the letter K.
Right.
And so the language of Haitian Creole is very phonemic, and it's phonemic in the sense that all letters play their role, and all letters always experience. In the home, play their role, and all letters always make the same sound. So the C that we see in the hard C that we see in English doesn't exist in Creole. It's always K.
That is amazing.
Yeah, Q doesn't QU that doesn't exist in Creole.
Right.
So that hard sound, that K sound is always made by a K.
So for those who are listening, you heard it from the experts. Kon as in Nancy, PA. Awesome. It's literally the debate of the hour from time to time.
Compa, lage compa, yes. No,
Merci.
Konpa.
Yes. Oh, that's awesome. And let's see here. I just want to make sure I have it all. How many, I know we spoke about it, but I just got back on it for a second. How many different puzzle pieces you have?
So at the moment, we have 3 different puzzles.
Awesome.
And yes, so we have 3 different puzzles. The first one is called Mon Épontant, na histoire d'Haïti. And that one includes, oh, now I have to go look at it. I wish I had it out.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I wish I should have had it out. Oh my goodness. Okay, so if you go on the website, or if you go on our at Jaden TiMoun, or even at Creole NYC, which is
Yeah.
the Instagram handle for the Haitian Creole Language Institute. If you go onto our website, there's or if you go onto the link that's in our bio, you will be able to access the link for the puzzles, and you'll get to see a picture of each puzzle and the description of the puzzle.
Yes.
Also what's included. And so each puzzle, we have 3 for now. The first one we have Anakaona, which commemorates the very first Haitian hero in our history. And the second puzzle is called the Image Haiti. And so there's several images that's within that puzzle, including an image of the national flower, chou black,
Yes.
also, which is also a hibiscus. And we also have the national bird, which is in Creole we call caleçon rouge, but it's also known as the Hispaniolan trogon. And these puzzles, they come with an informational guide written in both Creole and in English. And so you get to learn about what's in the images.
Yeah.
Put the puzzles together. So while putting the puzzles together with your family or with your children, it also turns into an educational experience in both English and in Creole.
Yes, that's amazing.
Yes.
And are they all the same puzzle count? I believe you said 48.
Yes, so at the moment we carry 48-piece puzzles, but
Yes.
we will be expanding that and will include puzzles with much more pieces.
Yes,
For
that's
children.
amazing. I absolutely.
Whoever wants to play.
Yes,
Not
I would.
a puzzle that you're putting together, it's also an educational experience,
Indeed.
a learning experience with the informational guides that are provided with the puzzles.
Agreed. I love it. I can't wait to order. I'm going to order some even for myself just to have.
Yay.
Okay. So then and sorry if I'm jumping around, how would they register for tomorrow's event?
So for tomorrow's event, you can go to at Jaden TiMoun, or you can go to at Creole NYC, and Creole is written in with a K, KREYOL NYC, and you can go to the link in our bio, and that will give you a chance to access the event link. And through the event link, you'll be able to purchase tickets and also get more information about the events. As well as at Tout Sepa, who's collaborating with us, Riva. At Tout Sepa is at TOUTSEPA at Tout Sepa. Awesome. For tomorrow's event, which starts at 3 p.m. And the last in that series is next Saturday, the 16th, also at 3 p.m.
Awesome. So I do have a few questions here from the viewers. One here says, is learning online more difficult? Can you discuss a bit of the adult program as well?
Okay. So learning online, the piece with learning online, the thing is that there are certain things that are removed that you don't have when you are learning in person, especially for children.
Right.
And so as I mentioned before, children are concrete learners.
Yes.
And so they need to be able to engage their senses to learn. And so with part of that piece removed, it can make things a bit difficult, which is why we were very careful to curate an online platform where we would engage the children as best as we can through visual effects, for example. So
Mm-hmm.
imagery, like with the storytelling, we're very careful to make sure that we have vivid imagery that go along with our storytelling,
Mm-hmm.
as well as providing parents with resources, such as activities that they can do in the home,
Right.
and also providing them with themes and target vocabulary that we will use during class, that they can use as an extension for language acquisition and language learning within the home.
Mm-hmm.
And we also used themes and target vocabulary that we can easily transfer and through online. So for example, colors, and positional and directional concepts. Mettez-moi en l'air, mettez-moi
Yep.
en bas, mettez-moi sous côté. It's
Yes.
really understood. And we would leave out concepts that would better
Yeah.
be learned in person. And so we were careful to do that. And with with adults, their courses, online courses for adults have always existed,
Mm-hmm.
and as well as in-person courses for adults.
Right.
And so if one wants to learn more about the adult classes, you can go to our website, which is www.haitiancreoleinstitute.com. And there you'll find a list of all courses, as well as all information about Jaden TiMoun, and as well as language translation services that we also provide. So we provide a score of things that
Nice.
you can
Nice.
look into if you go to our website, which also can be accessed through our bio at
Yes.
Jaden TiMoun, as well as at Creole NYC.
Yes. And I made sure to pin you guys so you guys could see it and check out their bio. So what is the age for the adults? Because I know for the kids you mentioned like anywhere from, well, I noticed online as well, but up to 6 and then to 12.
Well, adults, anyone, if you're, able to learn, you go ahead and
All
do
right.
it. Yes.
Awesome.
So adults, anyone from whatever age, even teenagers, like if interested, they can also take those classes as well. If parents want to take
Yeah.
courses with their teenage children, that's great. I know that we've had children, older children, like 12, older than 12, who have taken courses with their parents through the institute as well.
That would be that. Yeah, that's amazing. I have another question here. It says, how are children evaluated in the program?
How are children evaluated? And so we, through our assessments are mostly informal. And
Mm-hmm.
so through ourselves and as well as through parents. And because we're using a natural approach, we don't teach grammar, we don't do corrections, and we don't have the children sit and do ditto sheets or have tests. We don't do that, only because it's not natural. And in effect, actually, learning for young children, teaching that way have been proven to be ineffective. And so most assessments are done very informally and through observation. And so, for example, if I want to get a sense of how a child is learning their colors and know their colors, I can simply have a conversation with the child through active engagement with an activity that the child is immersed in.
Yep.
And so, for example, if we're having a conversation and I ask the child, est-ce qu'on apprend crayon bleu pour moi? And the child gives me the red one, I know the child didn't know blue, the color blue crayon. So that in itself is a sort of informal assessment by itself.
Right. Oh, then that's awesome. That's
And
great.
even correction, some people feel that the children should be corrected as they learn, and in some ways that isn't the case, because oftentimes correction isn't effective. It may work in the short term, but what ends up happening oftentimes is that we may make children self-conscious or even frustrated, and it sometimes brings the child to a silent period. Like if they feel like they're getting corrected, they may just choose not to speak at all. And so this brings me to a memory I remember from a time in class when we were doing an activity on shapes. And in class prior to going to the whole group activities, we break children out into stations where they engage in certain activities. And this child was engaging in an activity with straws and foam and clay and was putting shapes together, like, as if puzzles. And I came over and I was speaking to the child and the father, and I asked the child in Creole, what shape did he make? And he said, oh, ça c'est une belle forme, qui ça fait là? And the child understood what I said, but answered in English and said, triangle. And the father quickly said, no, c'est triangle, for the triangle. And to the side later on, I explained to the dad that the child wasn't wrong. He said triangle. It was indeed a triangle. He wasn't wrong. And what we would do in this type of case is that we would, instead of correcting the child, we would rephrase. And so if the child would say, oh, it's a triangle, I would rephrase in the target language and say, oh, ou fait au triangle. So that way he would know that I wasn't trying to correct him. I'm just saying it in a different way. So I'll learn and knows that it is a triangle, but you could also say triangle because there's more than one way to say it.
Oh, that's amazing. We're getting great feedback. Great method used. Amazing. Seems like a great learning environment. Awesome.
Yay.
Natural assessment. Yes. This is great. No pressure on the children. Agreed. Again, I don't have kids, but I could just imagine. Agreed 100%. Oh, this was great. Any other questions, anyone, before I close out? Oh, Blue Aries, by the way. Okay, hold on. So how do you deal when you can understand the language but can't speak it back, especially in Creole?
Okay, so with a person, adult or child that can understand a language but they don't speak it, that's often termed as a receptive bilingual. And so that person has the receptive part, but they're not expressing. And so there are several reasons why that may happen for someone. And so oftentimes I've heard people say that growing up, people would make fun of them, for example, when speaking Creole, lang yo lou, yo pa pale bien, and that inadvertently would cause them to just not want to speak. And that's part of what I had mentioned before, whereas if you're often correcting someone or you make fun of them, that can lead to the child or the person becoming self-conscious and not wanting to speak. And that can serve as a form of trauma for some people on different levels. It may not necessarily be traumatizing, but for some people it may be, depending on how often they might have been teased, or depending on the type of teasing. And so overcoming that is depending on the person is can be done in several ways. So one way can be through motivation, or even just finding a partner, someone that you feel comfortable with having a conversation with. And so I often tell people that if you're going to speak a language, it'll be because you're motivated to, in addition to being exposed to it. You have to be exposed in a language in order to pick up the rich vocabulary of that language. And in addition to that, you also have to have opportunities to speak. Because without the opportunities to speak, you only become a receptive bilingual, which is a person that can understand a language, but they don't express themselves in that language. And so opportunities to speak can include a play date, an adult play date or a child play date.
Right.
Where you put in place a rule where we're only speaking in this language and you can only respond in this language. Do not accept me, speaking of the other language. So si wap pale créole et puis n'a fait outil play date, c'est en créole n'a parlé seulement. Faut répondre en créole.
Oui.
Et m'a parlé avec vous seulement en créole.
That's it.
That's an example of one of the things you do to overcome that.
Yeah. That's smart. That's actually real smart. So then I see a few comments here. One of them I pinned, but Samantha says that's me. That's funny. He says, I know people use Google Translate since Haitian Creole was added recently. So what are your thoughts on that?
Google Translate is it's a useful resource. It certainly is. but we also have to be mindful, like for example, with idioms or with certain things that are hard to translate or don't come up in Google Translate, we have to also be aware of that as well. Google Translate is a resource, but we also have to remember that
Yes.
certain resources may be limited. But
Yes.
Google Translate it's a great resource, especially when writing or reading and you're looking to make sure that you
Yep. Yep.
use the
Yep.
correct spelling when
Yep.
spelling a word, and and also grammar as well. And for example, a lot of people don't realize that Creole, although it's phonemic and you write it how it's written, how it's pronounced, but you can't write it just any way
Right.
because it has it's a standardized
Yep.
language
Yes.
and has to be written a certain way. So Google Translate, I think, is definitely a good resource that can be used.
Agreed. So Carrie says it can be very discouraging when they make fun of you. Yeah, it is.
Absolutely, very discouraging.
Agreed.
It definitely is. But at the end of the day, your the way you view the language and its worth and your motivation to speak it can and would overcome the inability to express at that
Right.
time.
Right. Um. Hey. Hey, NJ Hart. They added Creole. How do you plan to expand if given? Okay, love that question. Don't want to go off of Powell. Hold on. I don't want to say it wrong. Powell
Powell Bilang,
Bilang.
Powell
So
Bilang.
she said that's a great option for the parents.
Yes. So Powell Bilang is a parent workshop that we've developed for parents who are interested in raising their children bilingually. And so in this free workshop that we've provided about 2 to 3 times a year, the parents come to the workshop and we have a resource table with books in Creole, also other resources that parents can use with their children,
Yeah.
books that talk about the philosophy and use of bilingualism and multilingualism and how you
Mhm.
can implement that in the home. And so if you're a parent who's interested in implementing and sustaining bilingualism or multilingualism in the home, Paolo Bilang helps you along with that. So we talk about a roadmap to implementing a strategy to raise your children speaking more than one language. And so Paolo Bilang is a great resource for parents and for parents
Awesome.
to be as well.
Yes, yes. No, that's amazing. So Nedi says, how do you plan to expand if given the opportunity? Oh, did I lose you? Or is
Oh,
that me?
back on. I
Oh,
saw poor
okay.
connection. I was like, no.
No, I thought it was me. Okay, awesome. So we're back. I feel like I lost this question or her question. Okay, here it is. So she says, how do you plan to expand if given the opportunity?
How do we plan to expand given the opportunity? That's a great question.
Yes.
There's different ways that we can expand, whether it's finding other spaces to physically
Mm-hmm.
and or expanding online classes. At the moment, we are online for COVID reasons, but we're also considering continuing online classes in addition to one-on-one online classes. We do have online classes for adults, including classes that are groups as well as one-to-one classes. And
Yes.
so that's an option. That's something that we're open to doing. Online classes for children, one-to-one online classes, as well as expanding because Creole is, is everywhere and we want it to be everywhere and we're going to continue with it.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. I use it at work to speak Spanish clients. Oh yeah, no, she mentioned that. Someone says, is it accurate? Okay, so one person mentioned how Google Translate isn't as accurate because they use it at work to do Spanish, and the clients says often it fails them. And then the person below says, is it accurate?
Well, this is what I was saying before. Google
Yeah.
Translate is a good resource to use, but it's limited, and that's something that we should also keep in
Keep in
mind.
mind. Yeah.
So let's say if you're translating a word, it's pretty helpful. But if you're looking to translate phrases, it may be more limiting than you may expect. Or if you're looking to translate idioms, or there's just certain things that
Yes.
are just not translatable in that realm within that platform. And so it's important to look into other resources as well. So be sure not to limit yourself with just one thing, but also using other things such as dictionaries or native language,
Yep.
people who are native,
Yep.
fluently native in the language as well is helpful.
So Krill NYC, hey, mentioned Google Translate is often inaccurate, but there's options for the public to make edits, as you were mentioning, into Google Translate.
Yes.
That scared me. Sorry. So, anywho, yes, that was awesome. Um, so
And also expanding. I'm sorry, I'm going back to something else that you
no, no,
mentioned.
no, I love it.
Expanding. We're also looking to expand staff in the near future as well.
Oh yes, I pinned that.
Educators that can help us. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's awesome. I love it. I
And
do.
there is a website called Sweet Coconuts. It can also be very helpful with translation, like with you're looking for words or looking for certain
Mhm.
phrases. It's an online blog by someone who's a Haitian native
Oh,
speaker, Haitian Creole native speaker. And so if you Google Sweet Coconuts, you'd be able to access the blog and the
that's
website.
amazing. I'm totally gonna check it out. You guys heard it. Sweet coconuts.
Yes.
Awesome. So unfortunately, IG only gives us an hour, and I logged on at 7. So we are going to have to
What about
wrap this.
quickly?
I know, and I love this. I absolutely do. One more time, just let the people know where they could find you. I think there's more questions, but okay. In the meantime, let them know where they could find you. I know you mentioned it, but one last time before we go.
Sure. So you can find us at Jaden TiMoun on all online platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So it's at Jaden TiMoun, JadenTimoun. And you can also find us at Creole NYC, which is spelled KREYOLNYC.
Awesome.
And definitely go to our bio and check out the events that we have coming up with
Mhm, mhm.
with Griva, Priscilla, and also we have online classes on Saturday mornings, one at 10 a.m. and one at 11 a.m. Definitely check out the information for that on via the link in our bio. And also our website, you can also go to our website if you want to Google it, go online. And our website is www.haitiancreoleinstitute.com.
Runner has a question. He says if he's writing a letter, is Google the best place to use? Question mark, question mark.
Is Google the best place to use? As mentioned before, it is limited. Limited. There's some, you can use it for, single words, but it's limited. Very much so.
Awesome. New summer classes for adults will be posted very soon, says Krill NYC. So the classes you mentioned for every Saturday, is that the adults or for the kids, the youth?
The classes that we currently have in the mornings, those are for the children through Jaden
Okay.
TiMoun. The one
Okay.
that's at 10 a.m. is for children 6 and under. And
Okay.
the one at 11 a.m. is for children between the ages of 6 and 12, called Jouet Lakai.
Okay. Okay. Hence why she mentioned the one for the adults. Because I would love that. I have to check in,
Yeah.
jump in. Oh, well, thank you so
You'll
much
be
for this.
your letters in crayon.
For real, we don't have to rely on Google, you guys. Just jump on in with us.
Yes.
I want to thank you so much for this. This was very great, very informative. This was amazing. I am once again, I want to commend and salute you guys for the work you guys have been doing and the work you guys will continue to do. And the collaborative looks to collaborating with you guys in the near future as well. And yeah, no. let's stay in touch.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for the invitation. I had a great time having this conversation with you. Thank you a lot.
Oh, thanks. And everyone, be sure to follow.
Okay, bye. Thank you so much.
Bye. Have a good one.
You too.
You guys, hold on. Let me see if I can post this up. Awesome. So my live is going to end soon. That was a great interview. Be sure to follow Jaden TiMoun, and also be sure to follow the collaborative on Instagram at the underscore Haitian underscore heritage. This was brought to you from them, and follow us on Facebook as well at the Haitian American Collaborative, and register online. It is completely free at www.thehaitianheritage.com, and you'll be able to gain a lot of resource and access to the full calendar. I went ahead and shared the calendar on the backdrop of this live. We have a full calendar of festivities. We have something special coming up for Haitian Flag Day. I'm totally psyched, but I can't share it yet. We have to wait till the flyer drops. And also tons of exciting things to come. uh yeah, this was great. Again, thank you, Cleon NYC, Jaden TiMoun, and everyone else that took a part of this. Well, I guess I'll see you guys on the other side. You tuned in with your girl, Fancy. Okay.